Hi, do your employees need language training? Well, in this video, we're going to review 5 options you have to provide that training. And number 1 is what multinational companies do. And what do? They find a global provider, which is a language school or a language institute that can give language training to your employees. And this is closely related to number 2, which is smaller companies. Well, what smaller companies do is they find a local provider that's close by to give these language trainings. Very important when you're working with a provider, make sure to define your needs. Do your employees need to use the language at work, or is it just a bonus for them to help them integrate in society and you just give it to them, to help them and maybe to convince them to move to your country? This is going to be really important because if it's just to help them integrate, you don't need to follow up much on it. But if it is to use at work, you really need to check and follow up and to pay attention to the timing and the frequency of these lessons. For example, if you have one employee that just started a major project, well, this may not be the best timing to give them 4 hours of English a day. And the frequency is equally important. If you just learn 1 hour per month, and for the rest, your employee doesn't speak that language, it doesn't really make sense. Also, make sure to check if your local government gives subsidies to help you finance these language trainings. The local providers or the global providers will usually propose 10-hour classes or 20-hour classes and will also offer you a platform. So make sure to check if that suits your needs. Option number 3 is just to let your employee find their school and then pay it back. It is also very important there to have an invoice of the language school or of the teacher, and to give your employee a budget, an annual budget or a monthly budget that they can consume. Also make sure to follow up if the employee is happy with that provider or not. Option number 4 is to recruit a language teacher in your own company. This requires some investment because you're going to need to put a lot of energy in recruiting that person, but also giving that person a budget to develop materials and to organize the language lessons within your company. This is only advised if you know that you're going to have a long-term effort to teach your employees a new language. If you just need to teach one employee the language, and it doesn't make sense to recruit someone for just giving that employee language lessons. All right. And the last and 5th option is also the cheapest. There are many online platforms like Udemy, where I also teach, offering online language courses that are pre-recorded. This is rather cheap because there are no live lessons, and you can decide case by case which courses your employees can follow, but it's maybe a nice bonus to give your employees and to convince them to come to your place. So what do you think the best option is for you? Feel free to write it in the comments.